Blind gay people of Reddit, how did you know you were gay? And now I want to know the answer to a question I never fathomed existing. And NBSP, edit. Also, is this going to be the highest upvoted Ask Reddit thread that never gets a real reply? Were there others? You ever just smell a food from afar and think to yourself that must be delicious? It's like that. Except it's dicks. I couldn't see myself being straight. A common misconception about being gay is that the awareness of being gay is any different than the awareness of being straight. Here's how I know I'm straight. I'm a guy. At a certain age, I started feeling differently around girls. I like to look at them in a certain way. I like to hear their voices, and to be around them. I like to dance with them and hold their hands. I like to kiss them and hug them, and talk on the phone to them well into the night. In serious relationships, I would feel like there just wasn't enough time, because we each had to go to our respective homes, instead of just staying up all night and talking, which was all we wanted to do. Eventually I learned that this was what it was like to be straight, but I never thought of it as being straight. It was just how I was. My son is gay, and all I can hope is that he has the opportunity to feel the same things while he's young as I did at his age. And I don't care who he feels that way about, nearly as much as some people think I should. I'd imagine it's the same way blind straight people know they are straight, or how straight blind people know they are blind. Probably because they can't distinguish gender by sight, so they hear all the nagging that women do and decide to go in the other direction. That's right, Reddit, I said it. Watch the film The Way He Looks. Beautiful story about a blind gay teen and his love for a classmate. I've been blind since birth and extremely gay. You know when you see someone and are attracted to them? It's kind of like that, but I can see. People are attracted to voices, personality, pheromones and physical touch. What kind of bodies do you want to feel? Etc. Sexuality is not strictly visual. But I'm a woman, so maybe the male experience is much different. Seriously. I'm neither blind nor gay, but why is everyone so astonished by this question and awaiting a plausible answer? Blind people have social interactions like everyone else. They have sympathy and apathy for other people. They identify with their gender and understand genders as anyone else. They have sexual thoughts which are not only based on visual criteria, just like anyone else. So why would they not have sexual preferences based on gender? Just because they cannot see. Oh, I'm blind and horny and want a relationship. But I don't care if I have sex or a relationship with a woman or a man, because I cannot see with my eyes. Is that how everyone imagines a blind person? Not blind. But I imagine I would know I was gay because I would find a man's voice sexier than a woman's. Growing up, if I was roughhousing with another boy, it would give me a different feeling than casually touching a girl. I would imagine I would get to know other guys and have crushes on them. Since you don't need to see someone to get to know them through conversation and eventually find their personality attractive. This question seems super interesting. But then you think about it and realize it's really freaking dumb. Interesting how overwhelmingly responders are focused only on male homosexuals and not females. Just saying. ITT. How can blind people use Reddit? If half of the commenters are ignorant enough about accessibility features, it's no wonder they can't fathom a blind person figuring out their sexuality. Isn't it the same way that a blind straight person would know they were attracted to the opposite sex? They can still get crushes based off people's voices, scent, etc. I can also imagine a blind person being very attracted to feminine or masculine voices. Blind gay people of Reddit. How did you know there was a thread about blind gay people of Reddit? Are you guys serious? Do you only feel love/attraction to people's looks? This feels so obvious, and yet so many people are dying with curiosity with 1,000 upvotes. No offense, people. But come on. Think about how you've fallen in love/had lust in the past. It wasn't all looks. Voice/personality is huge. And so is the type of sex. It's not as if blind people can't experience the world and imagine things. Blind and deaf I might wonder about. But just blind or deaf? Come on, LOL. Wouldn't it be the same as being heterosexual? How would a blind person know they are attracted to anyone? I assume it's the feeling of closeness and connection and not looks. You just kind of feel these things. I'm not gay because I'm disgusted by men. I'm not gay because I feel attracted to women. I knew a blind guy who was a furry and was bi. I think he liked guys and girls. Can't really remember. Great sound engineer though. Blind gay guy here. I first knew I was gay when I was sitting over at a friend's house for a party and several women were going on and on about the most inane nonsense. They would shriek and cackle like banshees. Later in the evening a few women partygoers started prodding the host and made him feel bad about throwing the party. Ever since then when I hear a woman's voice I can't get aroused. These things must be incredible to look at. Yikes. /use/Rupster said it best. As side note, since conversation on this subject has yet to come up organically, people with learning disabilities can be gay. Living with disabilities. I've worked at Goodwill for 6 years. To anyone who doesn't have one near them, a Goodwill is a thrift store that takes donated clothes and other household items and then sells them for cheap. They also hire people with mental and physical disabilities. Dollar all around, but that's a story for another time. On to my point. People with learning disabilities and mental handicap most certainly can be gay. I've been hit on by fellow employees who know full well what they are into. The sad truth is that the general population just doesn't know or hear about it because for the most part these people are closeted and for a host of reasons. For this one poor guy who I'd totally date if I wasn't looking to stay single, who told me all about his love for the movie Brokeback Mountain. The reason that few know he is gay is because his caretaker won't allow him to be gay. Maybe it's because they are protecting him from further social stigmatization. Maybe it's because they are homophobic. Who knows? But I made the overlooked and rarely thought about point that people with learning disabilities can also be gay. This does not address the question that this thread is based upon. Dear Reddit, there are screen readers which read text out loud. There are devices which convert on-screen text into Braille. There are speech-to-text programs. There are Braille keyboards. But blind people may not even need either of those because your keyboard, every keyboard, has a raised dot on the F and J to let you figure out how to place your fingers without looking. For the last goddamn time, blind people can use Reddit and the internet. This isn't rocket science, guys. If we can send a rover to Mars, we can find a way for blind people to use the internet. Go read about assistive devices and web accessibility. Jesus. I'm blind. And I'll admit, I laughed when I read this. Then I realized I could see and read again. Then I cried tears of joy. I want to start by saying that I'm not fully blind, but I'm legally blind. Of course this is a great question, but some of the comments here give me instant rage. I simply don't understand why so many people here obviously think that just because you're blind you can't use the internet. You can't read, or you're just retarded and can't type anything on the phone or on a laptop/PC. How the duck do you think blind people find jobs, study at universities, or have children? Surprise, surprise. We actually do all those things. Some of us even have pretty normal lives and go out dancing/playing sports or go traveling, and yes, even traveling alone is possible. You just have to have the will for those things and you have to keep going and never give up. There are so many great technologies and gadgets for blind and visually impaired individuals. I don't understand why so many people have to be that ducking ignorant. I mean, you can Google everything else. Then why is it so ducking hard to Google if blind people are able to use the internet/Reddit? Trust me. No one is superior and we are all equal human beings, and just because you have a disability it doesn't mean you can't live your life to the fullest. This question must have the smallest demographic possible. The only smaller question would be former Amish converted to Muslims of Reddit. When did you find Islam?